We've got the cylinder head from that CB32 Gold Star here, and this is the old exhaust valve. Rather a lot of play there between it and the guide, and I've measured the stem of the valve, and there's anything up to about 5/1000th of an inch diametrical wear on it. I can actually sort of feel that area there. There's actually a step that I can feel. There's such heavy wear on the stem. So what I decided I would do, and I'll turn the head over in a minute and show and explain my reasoning behind what I'm doing here, but I thought I'd start off first of all, as I could pick up so much wear on the stem, it might be worth me trying to get a new valve. Now that proved quite difficult, but I have actually got one, and for anyone that wants to know, the part number of this valve, this exhaust valve for this 1955 I believe 350 Gold Star, is 65-1843. Anyway, it actually is possible to read that on the face of the old valve there, just about. Anyway, just go back to the old valve a minute. Now that's the sort of play that we got between it and the guide, and I realise that obviously there will be wear in the guide as well as the stem, but keep in mind that 5/1000th of an inch wear on the stem for a moment on this old valve. We'll get it out and we'll put the new one in there. So I wobble that about. Now as we can see, it is wobbling in the guide, but much less so than the old one, and bear in mind as well, it's completely dry. I appreciate that we got more play fore and aft than side to side by a small amount, so I'm putting my hands up. There is wear in the guide, I realise that, but when we consider that this engine was running and being run with this much play, admittedly with compression issues, which I don't think would have been down to this anyway really, they were more to do with the head gasket by the looks of things, we've got to be going in the right direction by fitting this new valve and reducing the play dramatically. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm sure there's people probably screaming out now, why don't you fit a new guide as well? Well, that would be tempting and perhaps even obvious, but the problem we've got, or possible problem we've got, is this. Now, someone who knows his Gold Stars saw this and said, what on earth have we got there? Well, whatever we've got, I would say, is probably been made as a one-off for a reason, and that reason might well be that perhaps a genuine and correct type valve guide for this engine might not have been available, or certainly not in whatever oversize might have been required for it to be a good fit in the cylinder head. Now I don't want to go getting into the realms of all sorts of difficulties and problems with valve guides, oversized ones and one-offs, and then potential problem of having to make sure that it lines up reasonably with the valve seat and recut the seat, which is fair, but it's not brand new by any stretch of the imagination. So overall, what I've done, to my mind, bearing in mind that this engine was running with all that play that it had before, and I've now found a means of reducing that down to a far more sort of acceptable level, even though it's not gone completely. It's going to take a long time before the play between the new valve and the guide gets anywhere near as much as the play between the old valve and the guide, so that's probably thousands of miles to my mind, and I can't imagine that this 350 Gold Star is going to be used as a daily commuter, racking up hundreds of miles a week, and I really doubt that it's going to be raced in anger and held at engine speeds of beyond 7,000 RPM for long periods of time while it gets thrashed around a racing circuit. So I'm going by my own intuition here, and dare I say it, my own experience, and I'm going to deem it good to go with the new valve fitted and ground in, and there's no issue with the inlet valve. The fit between the inlet valve and its guide are fine. So we've got to be going up a good way in the world from where we were before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind this new exhaust valve in to the seat, fit it, give the inlet valve a checking over and a grind into its seat as well, and fit that, and then the cylinder head is going to be ready to go back on the engine. There'll obviously be I'll be ready for them. There will be comments. I'll probably get called all sorts of names, and a cowboy, amateur, does that guy know what he's doing, etc, etc. But we will reach a stage where we'll be running this engine and going for a ride on this bike, and I'm sure I'll have it going very well indeed. So watch this space. I'm going to get on with one of my least favourite jobs now and start grinding in valves.